Now it's working.
Working.
Yeah.
All right, please stand for the pledge. We're working on YouTube. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
It's my phone. Yeah.
Okay, you want to hold this? The camera's already, you don't need that. And we're done.
So it's my phone.
Want to give them everything? Sure.
I have.
Thank you.
No.
They get it. Yeah. Pledge allegiance.
Share with
flag. So, and to the republic for which it stands. Raise your hand standing in honor of those serving in the military. Great, thank you. This room is haunted, and our IT is not working here, especially when we need it. And I want to welcome everyone here tonight. Make a motion to approve previous board minutes of April 6th, April 20th, 2026. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Suffolk County Police, please come up. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Yeah, doing all the Suffolk County Police Department. Been here a few times. You haven't seen me. Summer's coming up. Make sure you guys are watching out for kids on bikes. They all have e-bikes now. If you look to your left, look to your right when you're driving. See a bike, please look again. They come out a lot faster than you think. If you have children, I'm not going to tell you how to parent your children. I'm a government, I'm not going to tell you that, but I highly recommend you do not buy new bikes. They're getting into a lot of accidents. We're getting very hurt. It's not a good thing. So make sure you're looking out when you're driving. Brings us to another point. Look out for pedestrians. We had a really bad accident on the highway. I was the one that responded. Complete accident. The gentleman was making a left-hand turn. Couldn't see her due to her A-pillar. The A-pillar on the vehicle. Completely blocked off. She was crossing the street. And unfortunately, she got knocked over. Had baby in a stroller. Baby was fine. She got pretty hurt. Pretty banged up. The car was going north on Bayway. I mean, we got from the left-hand turn on. Okay, thank you. I cannot see her due to the complete accident, but make sure you double check pedestrians. Don't get really bad. Other than that, no one have any questions? They have any concerns? Yes.
Is there any way to put some sort of stop light, stop sign, like how do we slow them on 25?
That would have to obviously between you have the time drug orders and you have to go to time place with the 12. What's really New York State all that it's jail, yeah, $100, but that's you have to keep following the city. We did put in a patrol check at that station, so we do sit down there a lot patrol. Our primary thing though, we answer 911 calls. We try and take it when we can besides looking for you. But we did put a patrol check there, so Coke. Through that unit, their primary objective is for a ticket and arrest.
Yeah.
They will see that patrol check and they will be down there as well. Right?
Yeah, I put a call in and I spoke to somebody over at the one of the lieutenants there.
Right.
And he said they're gonna put the speed trailer out. Right now it's in the shop. But they said he could get that out soon, and he said that you guys would have a presence there. We do deal with some serious speeding.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys see us, we do sit down at that right there and sit there and tap the corner on the bend.
Yeah.
But like I said, patrol primary concern. I want calls, so I'll not take it down there, but now that it's on the radar, we'll have other.
Still next question, so a month goes by, patrol stop is not as big a hot topic as it is tonight. How do residents contact you guys to keep posted down?
Keep it down there?
Yeah.
Patrol check?
Yeah.
Who's you guys contact to get it done?
I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about the residents, how do they move?
They do? Yeah. I mean, we call 911. And
Well, that's not an emergency.
we call the non-emergency line.
So the residents can call non-emergency line and ask them to have a car down.
It's a, speaking down the block, we do sit down there a lot, there's a lot of, they make that ramp on the plane, and they go around the marina on their, seatbelt vehicles. So,
The issue we have is you come around that bend, there's 3 speed limits there. It's 45, 40, and then our village is 25.
Yes, it's what
And
it's
if you're
down.
doing 45, you're doing 55. We're coming around that bend. I know personally from my own experience, as a matter of fact, this past weekend, got run over by a car because the guy wasn't paying attention on his phone as I'm crossing Montauk Highway. You know, there's bad drivers there, and some bad's gonna happen, especially with the e-bikes and.
Right, but that's, I know it's really bad to stay in the middle of the roadway as well, and unfortunately, if you're in the vehicle, you're probably gonna be labeled at fault.
Well, the biggest issue is they're passing in the center lane there, so there's a lot of people that are, especially in the morning when they're late for their train, they're cutting for the center lane and passing to rush to the train station.
Right, right, it's going around with the traffic. Okay, I'll let the, warnings, yeah, appreciate it.
So we have two main issues. We have the speed on the block, and then we have residents who just wanna cross it during normal time.
Yeah.
So now, we could just try to get a full blown light, either on the top of South Bay, bottom of Lakeview, west,
Right,
and then we'll get complaints that people don't want a light there, right? It serves to answer the question. We also have other things where a crossing, which when you push a button and it lights up in the street.
Right.
Then
the passenger has the right way, and then that's what's wrong.
someone says it's 5 times.
Yeah, they should so look, the right away, they should look.
Yeah, so we have the speed, which is the issue, and then crossing the road is the other issue, so. They're not really the same, because it's the problem.
I mean, I would highly recommend any pedestrians walk down to where Windsor is, crosswalk. Highly recommend not crossing Montauk Highway there.
In a perfect world, yeah.
So it's very dangerous to cross the freeway road like that. You put the crosswalk in, so people can go down top for it. Oh, so you can't stand right out there.
I mean, I don't know, Suffolk County, if there's a Suffolk County, New York State put in, for the handicap, the ramps with the bubbles of your having shoot the site so that you know that there's a ramp there. There is a ramp at that corner of Concourse West and directly across in the middle of that walkway. There's another one, so theoretically, that is a national walkway across the back.
What do you mean, right?
So they all, when they redid all the curbing, about 5 years ago, they put in, one of the reasons they did that is for ADA, so if you're on a wheelchair or something like that, is you have these little bottles that tell you if you're part of, a big site, will tell you, you're at an intersection where a curve is.
Okay.
So there's one on the Empire Course West, directly across Montauk Highway, there's one by the walkway on the north side. Theoretically, if you do that, that's a walkway.
So we'd have to put signage and they get a crosswalk lines, right?
If you guys find that a lot of people do cross there, you guys walk around. I'd recommend putting crosswalk.
Yeah, it goes state road at that point, I think it's 40 miles an hour there, because we can't control the state road, it goes from 45 to 40, and I don't think anybody's stopping at 40.
There's nothing between the bridge and us to slow it.
Right.
So, I guess the only way we could try to do it is deal with our state representatives directly.
I would have to follow.
Need it? Yeah, we've had multiple meetings. They did do a survey about 3 or 4 years ago, and since it doesn't show a large amount of accidents, it's not dangerous. So they wait after an issue. Maybe we count this as 2 accidents, the mother and the child. So, we can add up the numbers, but it's difficult dealing with the state. So it's just something we have to do. Maybe we could put a petition together and have everybody who can sign it and put that in, because the more paperwork we have, probably that'll open it up. So maybe we can try something like that. Anybody on the board have anything else to ask about?
It's gonna look, I think a couple people.
Yeah,
Definitely ask, because they're not like cities, but.
We definitely use a speedway from Windsor to past Southwood Ho.
Right.
10 years ago, when I didn't realize it was 10 years ago, I haven't had to issue for it. I was maybe left going west on Montauk to Bradish Ring. And it's women who was high on drugs little 1-year-old. I'm hoping that she was arrested, and it was a crime scene. She hit me. She went right in the middle lane because she was busy getting, passing someone else. I was in that middle lane, making that left, and she was in the middle lane, and the officer said 6 inches, I would have been dead. So my car was totaled, thank God, I was fine, and this was 10 years ago. We've been dealing with this forever. It's been a speedway, we have to take care of this. What happened the other day, someone's gonna die,
Well, just so you know, that accident was not, but he was not speeding.
No, I know that, I know
Uh,
that.
I mean,
but
he's at fault.
We see,
should've looked
we
more,
see
yeah.
the speed, we see these cars crazy, they're like 70 miles an hour in an area where we all
No,
live.
we do sit down there, we write tickets. Like I said, our main thing is we answer 911 call, control. We get down there when we can. We can't always, but right now it's on Coast radar. They'll be sitting down there. They'll be writing everyone tickets, including you guys. But you guys might want to slow down as well.
Yeah.
All right.
We know, but we got it all, so we try to stop.
Yeah, well, you guys do see that, but every time I stop someone for a stop sign in Bright Waters, they live in Bright Waters, and I give them for a warning.
Please don't.
I'll say yes. Yeah.
All couples have to be into that one.
We also take this a minute, but we do get a lot of events, everyone's hard working, things are expensive, especially now with the new thing in New York State. Everything's appointments, almost license, so, All right, yes, ma'am.
Concerned about these young bike riders.
Yes,
One little guy is this big, riding a bicycle this big.
yes.
This afternoon I was here, they're circling the streets, they're not stopping at any signs, they're not watching.
How we were renewing our flags. We, here to find it right away, I agree.
They're 5 speed bumps.
Yes. Well, that's fine, but
I'm really, last 3 days, I just held my breath because they're going to blow the stuff.
Yep. So all you can do is, anyone with kids that has them, just probably get rid of them. They're probably not gonna listen until someone gets hurt, and that's unfortunate. We're not allowed to chase them. We're not allowed to bring them off the bike if they get hurt. We lose our girls. So
So there's no one that's monitoring them closely.
we're not allowed to chase them. So
She's not describing an e-bike though. These are dirt bikes with.
but yeah, we're especially not allowed to chase those.
If they will stop for us, then we can agree from them.
Yeah.
They will, they will.
Listen,
So, Stephen, today, it's increased presence of actually like quads. I guess I should say gas powered, like quads, 4-wheelers,
yes.
motorcycles, 3 guys hanging off the back of it, chases on. I've noticed some Hiawatha, Mississippi.
Yep.
Kind of going over the Howells and they circle back around.
Yes.
Is there any way we can get like a directed in that area?
So every time we get a call for them, we stand there, we look at them. We are not allowed to chase them.
I understand, but
So,
I mean, having you guys do like a 15-minute directed at Orinoco and Hiawatha,
right.
kind of deter them from coming in, because they're sitting there and it's usually the same time every day, 1:30, 7 o'clock, they're just flying around.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, yeah.
people are walking, with their kids and the dogs.
Right.
That's
Yeah, we said 1:30, what, yeah, and
Today it was, 7:10,
you're saying it's always the same time or
always same time,
always the same time?
1:30 to 7, and they kind
And
of.
do they go across from the school and they go hang out on those bikes with us back
I mean,
there?
I see them go to like North Logan Avenue,
Okay.
Clinton Avenue, off of Orinoco, and yeah.
Okay, because I know there's bike trips back in like Mississippi. I they'll go back there. I've tried to go back there and catch them. They just go out there.
Yeah, they're doing wheelies, they like to speed bump.
But I have a question. So if they're breaking a traffic rule, you're not allowed to, like going down a one-way street,
Can't do-
almost clip my car.
Right.
Okay, just curious. I live on Peters here. It's a one-way street. I was backing on my driveway and I went like this, and right when I turned, he went right by my driver's side, almost clipped my mirror. He didn't even stop. Yeah. That's interesting. I thought because he was breaking a traffic rule, maybe. No. Oh, okay.
What's the rationale behind not chasing them? They're gonna get hurt?
New York State. New York State, yeah, I believe it's that they're gonna get hurt. They don't want to chase motorcycles. We don't even really chase vehicles anymore. Unfortunately, unless we say a violent felony, we will not be chasing any vehicles. So,
Is chase synonymous with getting behind them and turning on the
oh, we
lights?
can turn on the lights and drive some, which we do, but the second they start running away, we can turn the lights.
Well, we get, then what about just following
Well, that would be chasing. Well, that would be chasing because they're gonna run away from us, so we can't continue to pursue them. Try to find out where they're living. We can try if they're going slow, but the second they start going fast, we can't be behind them because if they crash. That's on us. So, there's someone over here.
I had a question, sorry to bring it back. I was just curious more on what data points the state needs in order to take action. Is it just accidents?
Mostly accidents.
Okay,
That's their
like if we
unemployment.
did tickets, like speeding tickets, if you did a speeding study, like signatures, combination, they don't look at, they just want
It
accidents.
was just accidents that they said. Now, right now, we have a bunch of stuff coming up this month in the village. We can get a petition of some kind
Yeah.
together. We get out of it sitting at the plan sale, we get out of it sitting at the lot party. And maybe we could jumpstart 1,000 signatures on it, and, I'm not sure what we're requesting, we're requesting
Right.
crosswalks, and we're requesting a light.
Right,
More police presence is a separate issue. But what are people gonna be happy with? Because again, we try to solve the problem. To 9 people, then 7 people will show up
right.
against whatever we're proposing, stop sign or something.
You know,
So-
it almost sounds like you need a light someplace between, and it's gotta be east of Southwood Ho and west of Windsor.
Yeah.
That turn, it's a speed trap, and you need a light to stop it. People are gonna complain, but then you need a crosswalk thing too.
Right.
And if people had a crosswalk, they would probably walk their kids across the crosswalk where it's okay to cross.
You know,
And
the
that
top,
all stays,
yeah, it's all state.
that's all state. You get in at the same, just one light to slow them down.
You know, the top of South Bay seems to make sense to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah,
but some people on South Bay might not want that. But bottom of Lakeview West makes sense because people coming down Lakeview West is the other spot. It's narrow there too, the road narrows. So both of those are logical, in my brain, are logical spots. So that would probably be determined by New York State's engineers. So, and we can get a position together, and again, I'm sure we can get 1,000 signatures this month.
So how can we cross over like the Bay Shore residents with the Brightwater residents? Because obviously this dense past where the Brightwater stop, I mean, it's 2 mile stretch from the lakes to Robert's Crossing. So they're flying in either direction, as Bruce said, like a light further down at Gardner's Park, a light near Southwood Ho, like just slowing the traffic down along the way.
After Pride, there's never one in Southwood Ho.
yeah.
Like, there is data that can.
What if you
support
could, do we
this.
have to pull data just from the village of Brightwaters and you pull it from that stretch?
When they did the look, they pulled it from the stretch, and I think trustee Fawcett spoke to them, they said St. Peter's did a traffic study.
Yes,
too.
Peters, I spoke with Senator White's office several times this last week and actually today as well. St. Peter's did a traffic study and DOT came back to them and said there was no need for a crosswalk there, 'cause they want a crosswalk there. I also requested from them, and they called the New York State Department of Transportation, DOT. I'm trying to find out the number to start at the calling camp. But so essentially I asked for better walkway on the south side of Montauk Highway. And I asked for a reduction in the speed limit on Montauk Highway. Those are the two things. I didn't think about a traffic light, but we passed that.
People are not gonna like it, traffic light. That's what has to happen. You gotta stop them.
Don't disagree. She did make a suggestion that we put a illuminated pedestrian light there. I said, well, when we do that, she says, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness.
But there is one on the east side of the lakes, as you're going west on Montauk Highway. There is a sign there, I don't know when that was stuck in, but does anybody? That's what I think.
There's I think there's a lot of steps that we could probably do prior to looking into a light. However, keeping these guys here any longer, they're not able to be out writing tickets like you want so much. But so thank you guys for doing. But there's zero signage coming from the west to the east. So it goes from 45 to 40, almost off of Bradish, maybe a little bit east, a little bit west of there. And then it doesn't change to 35 till well past Lawrence Lane, almost in front of Ramsey, down that way. So if you go into any other larger village in this county, there is rumble strips. There's markings that say reduced speed corridor, reduced speed zone, anything. That's all stuff that can be tried before we start attacking traffic lights and pedestrian, which the other thing, the question I have for you guys really is, if the state did those curbs and put that ADA compliant rumble, whatever it's called, and then didn't finish the project, put in the crosswalk in, everything that happens there is on the state. That state didn't finish the job. You're encouraging people to cross there by putting the curb cut in there, and there's no marked crosswalk. That's a state problem. That's a state road. But as far as doing the other things, I think there's a lot of things we could do as a village. Yes, petitions are great and put pressure on some things. You also have a lot of local politicians in this that live in this village that can make phone calls to people that higher than we all. So I think there's other steps that we can do as a community to try to get those things in place and see where that goes to see if that helps with the speed. It may or may not. I don't know. Enforcement, yeah, absolutely. We'll get on that. There's other avenues which we can discuss when these guys leave. On other agencies that'll come in here and write tickets all day that you probably aren't even aware of. Will do for other villagers in this county. Costs money, but they'll come and do it, no problem. So that's all stuff that we can look at or discuss, you know. Okay, thanks.
Anybody, anything else for the officers? We can continue this discussion, we get to the open part of the meeting, so, you know, I know they have to go, we could continue this if everybody has any other thoughts on. it. But, you know, we'll go to the agenda, the officers to proving things quickly. So, other than that, anything else?
I just wanted to ask quick about the report sheet you have. On the third, you have robbery offense on Howells. Or whether I give that I guess. It's something that's yeah, it doesn't have an address, it just says Howells. Right. Anything I do with the detail, bro?
No, well, I just saw that it was like it was some sort of meat drive that was brought out in the month, so.
And then 429 is what we're referring to. But,
Great, thank you for that. Thank you very much. Anything else from anybody? Okay, that's right, back to that. Okay, next on the agenda is report to the trustee. Deputy Mayor Fawcett.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, so obviously very busy with, fielding questions from our residents about the incident on Montauk Highway, we took the Center Way, obviously, we're trying to figure out the best way strategy to, kind of keep the noise level up. Realistically, safety obviously is the biggest concern in the village, you know, we have more stop signs per capita than any other village, as well as speed bumps now, which we found to be somewhat effective. You know, I don't want to throw my hands up, but it's very frustrating when you speak to a senator's office and they tell you that they reached out to DOT and they didn't get a response back. You know, so it's a little frustrating for me because I really want to do something, and if I can do it myself, I would. But we will keep trying to put the pressure on. I just ask the residents, like, if I can get a number. I mean, we did this with Keyspan and other things. If I get a number from you guys that call, just keep calling. That's why I asked what we do with the code, because code is great. They'll be here for 2 weeks and then they're gonna move on to the next thing. So if we want to keep that presence, we gotta be the squeaky wheel. So it depends on you guys all to do that. We're elected officials, we do make calls, but I hate to tell you this, after a while, we get the wah, wah, wah. And they kind of ignore us. I emailed everything, so I have a record of my conversation, so there was back and forth. And I'm gonna try to find out who else, but I gotta reach out to Andrew Balcarino, I'll do that as well. But you know, I'm interested to find out what Kevin has, what else we could do there. But safety number one. Number two is as we get nicer weather, we gotta start really thinking about the lakes. The next step with the lakes, revitalizing the lakes. We did. Peter Judge Jr. has been doing a tremendous amount of stuff, pulling stuff out. We've had several residents around the lakes adopt certain areas, so you'll see different little plant beds. But we have to now start thinking about a longer term solution about what plants we want to put back in there to restore some of the banks and maintain those. You might have seen the boat out there. That was the tree cutting around the lakes. We haven't seen any little plants as of yet. So maybe what we did last year was good, but it's also been very cold. But once we start getting those 80-degree days, I'm not sure we're gonna start seeing those again. So the health of that. The other thing is the canal has been open. We have people on their boats. I don't want to jump in the billies, but every year we always hear that the boat will come to us and say, I left my poles on last night, somebody stole them. So if you are a boater, if you're gonna put your boat in the water, please take your gear off at night, don't leave it on. And then, just enforcement, because now we are gonna get into May. We have a lot of people that park on the concourse either side, and they also park at the head of the canal. They're gonna start getting tickets if they don't have a boat. So be aware of that. And then the last thing is be kind. If you're a boater and parking on the side streets, don't take up two spots. I've had a lot of people I've talked to recently said last year was a nightmare because, you know, the person was parking a little bit further than they should. So we don't have that many spots on the side streets. So be a good neighbor and just respect people's property. That's it. That's what I have to say.
Great, thank you. Justin Bennett?
Yeah, so no incidents overnight, from pro protection this month, aside from parking tickets. We really had, I mean, it's a very quiet until we didn't get any reports of cars getting broken into at all. So it seems like they're really doing a great job out there. The incident on Montauk Highway, which obviously we've spoken a lot about, been discussing it. I spoke to the inspector's office at the 3rd precinct. Like I said, they promised to make a presence down there. I also said they would put out a speed trailer when it gets out of the shop. And we had stop signs installed on Iroquois and Anderson.
Policemen aren't here. When you hear that their thing is broken for the entire precinct, they have one speed sign. Come on. Couple of times we asked them about radar enforcement. They have to be trained in radar. Not everybody's trained in radar to do that. And I always say, my son used to work at Duck Stadium with the radar going through the ball. They got how fast the ball was thrown. So it's a little, again, we don't want to pick on the guys and they're gone. But when you hear the one thing is broken or they can't push the trigger and point it at a car, it's a little frustrating.
So week-long training
Yeah. So, I mean, it's frustrating.
by the state.
Thank you. Right, so, trustee Delvecchio, so, commercial.
Events, coming up in the month of May, we have on May 17th, a block party from 12 to 4 at the Four Corners. On May 23rd, we're gonna have our Memorial Day ceremony up at the top of the canal. In addition, beach passes are for sale. Christian Ticket sponsors for every family fun night this summer. You do still have openings for.
I still have resource.
Okay, yeah, we're looking for families to sponsor the Thursday nights and the music. If you're interested, we have lots of representatives here that can give you the right answers. And also, if you know of any vendors or food trucks that are interested in coming down to the beach, please reach out. We're always looking for new exciting things that way as well. Just to make sure we have a full schedule of food trucks down there too. It's really all I have for the month of May.
Okay, great. Trustee McNulty?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public Works, Lisa McGinn. Last month, regular maintenance such as litter pickup, under village right of ways and trash pickup for village receptacles, grass cutting and village properties, 45 over the meeting. We painted, a walking beach, on the picnic tables, bike racks, bathrooms, ladder benches have been installed at walking beach for the season. And trash receptacles added to field rooms for launch walk up from the south. Parking stop straightened and secured at Cambridge and Canal Canal. The light bulb cycle was straightened and came along this curve. The water was turned on at the canal, field park, and Walker Beach. Bathrooms were also open. The irrigation system with the circle, Walker Beach, and Village Hall were repaired and turned on in the season. Suffolk County Police were notified of a motor vehicle accident resulting in minor damage to the railing of the bridge at Lagoon and other Cascade Lakes on April 16. Suffolk County Water Authority was notified of water main break from the 423 Richmond Boulevard. They've added additional long-way signs that were added on Elmhurst Point to prevent vehicles from exiting on Windsor Avenue. Repaired and painted bulletin board at Village Hall, built 18 planter boxes for downtown, installed a dock ladder on the concourse west. That's what once before. Removed some dead limbs from the lakes with full trees hanging into the lakes, affecting the flow of water at the lakes. Street sweeping is currently scheduled to begin June 1st through Friday the 5th. And storm drain is currently scheduled to begin Wednesday, June 8th through Wednesday, the 15th, That's all I have on the report.
Okay, great. Just like catch up on a couple of other things. Yesterday at the Saginaw Manor was a huge event. Mary Kate went away. Mary Kate coordinated with the 250th committee. They had a nice crowd at Saginaw Manor. It was just a nice day. It's a gem of a place close by to us. Most people don't appreciate it, but I think they probably had the most tours they ever had yesterday with all the people that were going into it. So it was a great day with Mary Kate and the 250 committee, a bunch of people here, and Jennifer in the back, and other people who helped out with that. And again, it was fun as long as the sun stayed out and the sun went in and went down 10 degrees. But other than that, it was a great day. And thanks for your help. Saturday, we have the plant sale at the top of the canal in the back. Jennifer and Ann coordinate that. Jennifer, you want to do a 30-second commercial for it?
So we'll have our beautiful assortment of potted plants, more size, significant, have our hanging baskets. We've got, with the same selection as beautiful, nice mix of geranium, ivy geranium, communication. We also have our patio pots and some hibiscus trees. We will open the sale at 8 a.m. And if anyone's interested in volunteering, we start at 6:30 a.m. Many of you in the room have volunteers in the past and know the drill, but we start unloading the trucks at 6:30. We open the sale up to the public at 8. The first hour is complete chaos, but very fun. But we will sell for probably about 75% of the inventory in the first hour. And then we usually stay until about 12:30 or so. Wrap it up. This year we also will have the Historical Society with us with our commemorative American 250 garden flags. If you haven't gotten yours, and my sample here, everybody can see. These are available right now at both Dean Bliss Wine and Spirits and the hardware store, and we'll have it there at the plant sale as well, so everyone can decorate in advance.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jake. All right, a couple other things. Probably in about a month, the sidewalk from Sheehan and Company to the post office, that's going to be all redone. There's going to be a couple of lamp posts in, a couple of trees put in there. So that's a continuation of the money that we get from Suffolk County. It's some kind of matching funds. So they play for about 2/3 of it. So that's the next step on that. The bathroom at Mississippi Park. Summer's coming, I think the end of next week, so that should be all ready before Memorial Day. So we hope to get that open. The update on the market in town. The market in town is about a month away. So hopefully, they're not gonna be open for the block party, but they hope to be open shortly after that. And there's a lot of rumors going around on the property across from the beer distributor about the soccer field. Someone did purchase it to do like a soccer for younger kids. He wants to develop the property with AstroTurf, and it's still just in the infant stages as far as what we're going to force them to do, how it's going to be used by the village residents. So there's a lot of planning on that still. But right now there is in development that's going to be a soccer field. And right next to the hardware store on his property, he wants to make 24 parking spots for when the soccer, they don't need it, it's going to be used for the residents. And, so it's still, again, as we get photos, as we get things, we're going to email it out to the residents. If you're not on the village's email list, please get on the village's email list, even if you're a resident or non-resident. Tina, you could get on it. We'll give you a discount. It's right. Okay. But we want people to be informed. It's always very important for the board to keep people informed. So we just have a couple of these, things going on, and we look forward to the weather being nice. It's fine. Hopefully, it'll be nice. But thank you. That's all I had. Next thing on the agenda. This is the taco place in town. He wants to put 2-seaters in front of his place. He has to come before the board. We have to give him permission. And we help him locate it so he doesn't block the sidewalks. I like the look of a good sidewalk seating, but they have to keep it clean. They have to be on it, or we could jump right on top of them. So I make a motion to approve Caesar Gradar, whatever, taco It's gonna kill me, Susan. Yeah. But, Taco Village to obtain an outdoor special permit for tables and chairs in front of the property. Make the motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Sound of Silence has become a huge event in the village, and that's on May 16th. It's a 5 and 10K run. They used to do it down at Jones Beach when they wouldn't allow them to do it on the boardwalk when COVID was happening. She came to us and asked us to use it here. And they pretty much adopted Brightwaters to have this. Erin Muscower, the person who was the head person, lives in Brightwaters. And they do a great thing. They line the whole course with banners and all. So we're declaring that May 16th is the Sound of Silence Day at Brightwaters. Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor? All right, the next thing is, again, to get sidewalks and to try to help slow down people in certain areas. Stop signs, I'm sorry. A lot of the east-west blocks north of the tracks do not have stop signs. So we received letters from people on the corner of Mohawk and Ackerson and Mohawk and Pine to put stop signs going east and west. The Mohawk and Pine one of them is in Brightwaters. Once we approve it, I have to approach the town of Islip. The town of Islip has been, pretty cooperative in making and giving us stop signs if we've asked. So, I make a motion to open the public hearing on the stop sign, so I have a second. All in favor? Before I go to the public, does anybody at the board want any comment on the stop signs? Okay, we open up to the public. When you're making a comment, please say your name and address. Nicole needs it for the record, so, anybody like to speak for or against these stop signs? People who wrote me the letters who are sitting in the front row, do you have anything to say?
Yes,
Okay,
I did write a letter.
so I have,
Someone at 109 Mohawk Drive, Brightwaters. I did make the map showing the number of accidents that have been on my lawn and on my corner there, Mohawk and Ackerson. I'm on the southwest corner, so the Ackerson Boulevard is a speedway to this highway and into Brightwaters, speedway all day long. And one accident there almost landed in my driveway. Some are coming south and some are going north. Fortunately, they were not hurt. That was the unfortunate thing about it. The other accidents were on my lawn. One was teenagers at night. The other, I don't know who it was, but the cars did land on my lawn. And I also put in the letter that my house has also been a bus stop for 50 years. So there's a bus stop of elementary school children on the side going eastward on Mohawk Drive. Cars come south and north all the time on Ackerson. And they just speed right through it. And these little cyclists now are going around. And one of the guy was this big on a bicycle this big, and the other one looked like a teenager. And I just saw the one house where they went into the driveway. So maybe I have identified who those parents are for this. But here yesterday, they were circling here, no stops, not following, stop signs, not watching, cars coming on them. And there was a grand time, just circling around between the streets here about walking. And but that's all I have to say. I didn't bring my little map.
all right, so, no, thank you. Thank you. Joe, do you want to say anything about Boston?
Joe, with that, no 111 Mobile Drive. It just got progressively worse over the years, so the reason for the letter and I'm hoping something to be done.
Okay, great. Anybody else on the two stop signs? To make a motion to close the public hearing, do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. All those in favor of approving these stop signs, make a motion to approve, do I have a second? Second. All those in favor? Anyone against? Okay, great. All right, the next outdoor public assembly is for the YMCA each year. Used to be called the Judy Shesh Run. What is it called now?
It's their run for Judy, actually. Yeah, so I'm chair of the board for the Great South Bay Wide Full Disclosure. We just sent out 9 checks for $1,000 to families who are struggling or recovering from cancer. So that's where the money goes to. So it's no strings attached. We just send them a check for $1,000, know that they're struggling with cancer for, recovering, and, yeah, hopefully that helps them along with it, so.
Yeah,
we didn't do that.
Most of their run is up Montauk Highway and then to Bay Shore, but they do shoot down Bayway. And they come up, I think, Concourse, West. We do know there's a lot of runs and different closures. We're hoping everybody's on our email list to know when the blocks are closed, or please get on our email list, because no matter how many things we send out, flyers, emails, Facebook, we have people that morning who want to drive through a race. And it happens every race we have, so just please, everybody keep it informed, all right? Make a motion to approve the outdoor assembly, do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next thing in the summertime, we've always worked with our fire department, they help us out. They come to our block parties, they help us out Memorial Day, they help us out at camp. And also with the Ragamuffin Parade, so they started using Walker Beach for one of their fundraiser races. And, make a motion to consider a public assembly application for Bay Shore Engine Company #1. Make a motion to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right, next is, this is the art, the yoga studio that opened in town. They want to use Walker Beach on Sunday mornings for yoga. We charge them a fee. When they have it, they don't have it, they don't have to pay us. 'Cause for a while there, we were charging somebody a lump sum fee, and then they would miss like 3 or 4 weeks because of bad weather. So we worked out a thing where it's a fee for each one. I think seems like she got a very good business going there, and it's great to utilize our facilities first thing in the morning. So anybody have any questions about the yoga going down there? No? Okay. Make a motion to yeah, she'll be making money on it. We're getting $50 to cover the cost. You know, if it's successful, then next year, charge you more. Make a motion to give a permit application of Studio 175 to hold their beach yoga at Walker Beach on Wednesdays from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. starting June 3rd. Through Labor Day. Make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay, the next is the final payment for the electrician on the Woosipi Park bathroom. Make a motion to pay Delcor $3,475 for electric work for Woosipi Park. Make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Yeah, the next thing is for the ironworks guy, the railing on the bridge, they got dented in, so he's got to change the whole piece. It looks like a car did it, happened overnight, there's no record anywhere. No one turned himself in for doing it, so, we have to pick up the cost. So permission to hire Cardulo Ironworks to cut out damaged pickets and weld new galvanized pickets into place for the Upper Cascade Lagoon Bridge for $1,500. Make the motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Next thing on the agenda is 2 lamp posts for in front of this building here. Each year, we apply for these JCAP grants. It's called, it's for, courthouse work. The bathroom was paid with JCAP, the handicap ramp out front was JCAP, the metal machine was JCAP, so it's something that we apply for every year, so we try to get easy pickings, try to keep improving Village Hall. I even think the roof, we got some of that was from them too. So it's been working out pretty good. So in the front where it's dark, when you go out tonight, you'll see that it's dark. We're gonna be getting 2 lamp posts from there. So permission to purchase 2 lamp posts from Maggot Plug for $6,690 to go in front of Village Hall. Make the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Next, each year we appoint someone to be the lifeguard supervisor. She teaches the kids first aid. She does the schedule. She checks on them. So Catherine has been doing it for the last 2 years. This will be a 3rd or 4th year. I'm not sure which. But I make a motion to appoint Catherine Reyes Borough as beach consultant at a flat rate of $2,500. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second. All in favor? You a statement? The next is the lifeguards that we're hiring. I make a motion to hire all the lifeguards listed. Make a motion to approve, do I have a second? Second. All those in favor? Okay. The abstracts and treasurer's report, all the main things is listed in your program if you want to take a look at it. But, anything that sticks out, Nicole, that we should know? Make a motion to approve treasurer's report and abstracts, do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. All right, before I open up the meeting to the public, does any of the board members have anything else to add? Okay. Make a motion to open up to the public, do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. All right, you don't have to, if anybody has anything to say, they don't have to come to the front if they don't want to, but please speak loudly. Also, Nicole does need the name each time anybody speaks, so, I'd like to open the meeting up to the public. Does anybody have any questions? They want to backtrack to Montauk Highway?
I had a question about.
Uh,
Shut the thing.
you
Hold on.
By the way,
Gosh, I told you guys I'm bad at this.
there you get that.
No, they're on.
Sure.
They're on. They see it. Mary Kate Molay, 303 Plymouth. I had a question going back to the Montauk Highway when they're saying to you that there's not enough accidents. What's enough? Like, that's my question. Tina shared her story when I was in high school. My friends got into an accident. One was in a coma for a couple months. Like, that's within recent time. What's like, what are they looking for? Have they actually put that in writing? Because I'm just confused how they're saying there's not enough, because those are just two stories off the top of my head, and I'm sure that there's more on top of what just happened this week. So I just don't understand how they're saying there's not enough accidents when there's been terrible accidents. So does someone need to like actually die in the last, as we're writing the letter? Like, I don't understand what they're looking for. So I'm
sometimes
just
it's
looking
based
for
on-
clarity of that.
Based on volume,
So what's
say
the
if there's
volume?
50,000 cars on there every day.
So
So when they do the math,
they need more?
I did mention to them, there has been several fatalities on Montauk Highway, maybe not like in that intersection where the canals are, but down the road, there's been several over the last couple of years. Recently, there was a drunk driver in the middle of the day that, hit another car and unfortunately killed somebody. But, again, I think it's one of these things that it's gonna have to be the squeaky wheel. We just need to find out which person that we have to speak to, so.
So I'll speak to it when we did the traffic study. Before we did the traffic study, I was doing a lot of work to try to get some stuff done as far as the traffic in the village, and I dealt with the precinct quite a bit, and finally he actually they sent me a chart between August 2022 and July 2025 with the breakdown for the hamlet breakdown. So that includes Brentwood, Bay Shore, Central Islip, West Islip, Islip, East Islip, Islip Terrace, Bright Waters, Baywood, Great River, West Bay Shore, North Great River, Comac, and North Bay Shore. We fall on the bottom end of that with 2% of the accidents for that entire hamlet, which is 321 accidents over the course of that time. So at that point, I was trying to just get more police presence here. And his reasoning was, we don't put traffic patrol out in areas that don't have accidents. So it just happened that I have this sheet from what he sent me at that time. And they're saying that we're 2% of the accidents in the hamlet. So that includes that area, that we're referring to.
Okay, but if we went like the safety, we're looking for safety measured routes, do you think they look at this differently instead of asking for police?
I honestly think it's something more like what John was pointing towards, like a petition like that. I think we need more voices out there to put that together.
I think a lot of us moms and dads are like looking for something specific that we can do, like give us a number to call, give us an email address to email, like we have the people that are, we support this, we need the safety of our village, but we need like a specific action that we can do, like we can show up to the meetings, that's great, but if we wanna get this done, we need specifics, like who can I get our group of moms and dads and neighbors, like who are we calling? Who are we emailing? Just give us the specifics and we can certainly
Yeah.
help that effort.
Well, up until this point, and honestly, it's just not something that's been brought to our attention. We haven't had people in the crowd bringing this to our attention. So I've been doing my legwork, but definitely now that it's it's on the front line, then it's something that we're gonna look into and find out who we need to speak to, who we can get this out to.
We'll try to get numbers. We
Yes.
will email, we can diplomatically email numbers out there and say, for information or a comment, call.
The village is split.
Yeah.
Too. We have different state senators depending on where you live.
Right.
So you have to kind of spread that blanket over everybody in our jurisdiction. So that's something to
Yeah,
think back
what-
to. Your state senator may not be your neighbors, which is just odd, but that's what it is.
The northeast part of the village, Monica Martinez is our state senator. And the other 2/3 at least of the village is Alexa Weeks. And Alexa is Republican, the other one is Democrat. Alexa now they're in the minority. So to get money, the minority people to get money is tougher. And then Monica Martinez, she says Montauk Highway is not my district, so I don't go in someone else's house. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that we don't see. When Phil Boyer was the state senator in the area and they kind of controlled at least the Senate in Albany, we used to get 150 grand each every year because it was just discretionary money. And it did help out the village. We haven't got any money my years at all because we're not in that position. So there's a lot of playing and like not finding out everything. It's frustrating and it shouldn't be. And we shouldn't hear the officer say it's broken, it's just,
Right.
it shouldn't be that way, but we do try, and then sometimes we just after hitting dead end, it's just, it feels like it's all into the wall.
Kevin made a great point. If that's a state issue because they did set up basically a pedestrian pathway, and that's something now that I'm gonna bring to that senator's attention. Because the more we can give them to fight for us, the better. But I think it's, going and attacking her, I don't think is the right tool because she's helping us. But I think whoever runs New York Department of Transportation, if we could find out who that person is and harass them.
If they continue just with the walkway and no sign that's in the road that says pedestrian.
But I
crossing,
think that, or if they do a walkway, then they're gonna have to do more than a walkway. Right?
I don't know, you think you can't just throw.
Correct. State highway.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Did you say your name? I'm sorry.
Sounds, Kate Anderson for, page work.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll help, after the accident, so we all live literally where the accident happened, like 1 block, 2 blocks north of there. My neighbor's husband was first up to see him. It was a terrible thing, and like what Mary Kate is saying, you're saying, it's not the first time, and it was very alarming to hear baby stroller, it shoved it right on his car up front. So I did call the town of Isle earlier this week. I spoke with a very informative lady in Nancy. She did inform me that Montauk Highway is a state road. I went as far as said, well, there's part of it that's called South Country Road. Would that be in the town of Isle? She said, no, that's the state. And she did give me the number. She told me to call the state informant. I don't know if that's a different number that you had.
I'm speaking with the senator, but I'm gonna.
So I
Yeah.
have that number. Happy to share.
If you want to give it to me.
It's definitely connect.
Yeah, so she said it was the state informant. 631-904-3050. And that, I don't know if it'll be any different than when you were running.
I want to find out what that informant number does. What is that? Is that just inform them of situations and does that get picked to DOT as well?
I
So,
have no idea. That was what she said from the town. She goes, that's the number, that's who we should call to.
Yeah.
To take the
So
next step.
John and I have been calling, been calling Andy Kaufman's office for years about Montauk Highway, and they said get the same response every time. It's a state highway. So I know your frustration there, but I think realistically, again, I think as I told Emily, I think this is a catalyst for us to get something done, and if people are willing to speak in the fight, it just become that thorn in somebody's side. I think we can get something done.
It doesn't have to just be us doing it either. I mean, we could put Tina on the corner in a lawn chair, get everybody to sign up. It gets a little cooler, Tina, okay, I know.
Very, very, feel for the.
An umbrella.
That's the right
No,
now.
so we have to-
There's no umbrella, there's
Does
no.
Hold on, does Back Ridge have a civic association or anything?
No, you still have a little neighborhood dance.
But I think it's doable that we put something together and we get it to you guys, and you guys can help out. And
Yeah.
you know, door to door when.
No, we are exactly, so- But I have a question.
Yeah.
Based on what
Did you ever tell us from there?
Tina Panos, Williams, and what?
My hedges are.
West Bay.
West Bay.
Based on your comment that we're like a 2% of.
Yeah.
What if they did, you know how they monitor the speed? If they would put monitors along Montauk Highway from Windsor, to Robert Moses or to the South of Ho, they would see how these people are speeding. I mean, there's no monitor, I'm on a lot of roads all over the place, and I see where they say, you're going 25, 30, 45 in the turn. If they monitor Montauk Highway, they'll see how these people are nuts.
Yeah, we just finished with a traffic study, the parts of the village, and it kind of showed us, and our speed has actually come down with the 25, but we're mostly residential community. We can control what happens in our little world, and we've been criticized with the 25, we've been criticized with stop signs, we've been criticized the speed humps. Village of Babylon just changed to 25. Lindenhurst is now 25. So other people, they're not saying, oh, look at the bike boys. They're doing it themselves because it does make sense. So we can control our 1 square mile, and unfortunately, that's about it. We would love to be able to take over these areas, but we don't have that. We don't have that ability.
So is that something to call the state to find, to have that monitor?
Yeah, yeah, that would be part of the conversation with. They probably did a survey of how many accidents. They didn't do it on speed because that would be part of the thing. So they were probably instructed how many accidents does it require, but the speed thing, probably somebody else in the department. So, it's important. I'm being sarcastic, but it's just, they do what they're told. So if part of our thing is, we need speed, we need this, and we that, okay, maybe we can get a whole thing. It's just a matter of putting the wires down, and they check it, it was not a big deal.
I think if there was, you could slow it down slightly, wherever that extension crosswalk is. Or, between where that service road dips out to Bay Ray across the street, something slow traffic down a little bit, like that may help.
I mean, when we pull out,
That's right for us.
when we pull out of, Radish, every morning I take my granddaughter to babysit. I can't go fast enough because that person who was all the way at Windsor is right
Yeah.
on my bike.
On the warp speed, right? Yeah.
Now I'm constantly going, no more than 40, because that's no speed limit right there, or whatever it is, 30, whatever it is. And they are right, and then what they do, right in the middle lane, and pass them. This is at 7:30 in the morning.
No, it
Great time.
happens. Anyone else? Chris,
In regards to.
name, please.
Chris Pace, still living in 506, Windsor. People have different, it's unfortunate that something happened, but brought so many people here. Love to see a lot of you guys every month. Last month there were 4 people here. When you have suggestions like the speed humps, great, it really slowed down traffic. But as I was walking here tonight, somebody beeped at me, and the same guy flipped me off for I don't know how many times. So, yeah, that wasn't it. Yes, there's people that are beeping every time they go speed up. Literally, the guy just beeped at me and flipped me off. So everyone's suggestions, there's always an opposition, to this. So please everybody. Yeah, it's not everyone has safety in their minds. Inconvenience means a lot.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chris. Anybody else?
Yeah, Steve, I Street 47 Windsor. I know, I think you're mentioning the I guess, one of unfinished crosswalk over on, West Concourse Way. I mean, I know you walk your dogs across that part every time, so. I feel like it's a really bad place to put a crosswalk. It's the blind portion of the curve downhill, and I feel like when you give people the false sense of security that they're out the right of way, I think that's possibly when something bad's gonna happen. And maybe the car that does stop could also get rear-ended by somebody doing it 50 around the bend, so. I feel like maybe if we're gonna pursue a crosswalk option, maybe further down toward the cascade where people are having more room to stop and see people potentially walking out of the street instead of right around that blind turn.
I mean, I think the best option is a stoplight, but, just so you know, we can suggest whatever you want. It's not gonna be our fault.
Well, I think part of the reason why nothing happens there is because we all know how dangerous the biking is. So I think when you let people get their guard down and put it across the lot, that could potentially be something that's gonna happen. So.
Disagree. Don't disagree.
Chris Moore, 153 Concourse West. Pat, I wonder if in your discussions with the state senator, they've given you any sort of indication about who with the DOT would be the person to receive all these calls?
No, I've been on the phone with them. I think the next I stop in the office. I know her very well from other dealings with other things, so I think we're gonna pop in and bring in some cookies, have a conversation.
Anybody else? Any subject?
Matt Mole, 303 Plymouth. Could you just provide some details on the Mississippi Park bathroom?
Right now, the bathroom should be done just before Memorial Day. It's all used with town of Iceland money, $25,000. We made sure that we're coming in on the budget, our budget. And my intention is to have the bathroom open from 10 to 5. And, just have our code people check it out all the time. The front door is monitored with the cameras that are on Mississippi Park. So that's my intention. There's been discussion about other things, but right now that's my intention. Unless something that,
Can you elaborate on the difference between your intention and something actually happening?
right now I have a sign being made up that says 10 to 5. That's my intention.
Am I able to ask if there's any differing opinions or agreements by
Yes.
trustees on that?
You can ask whatever you want, because the more you talk, the less Chris Pace talks, and he keeps raising the sandbar.
Would everyone mind providing their opinion on this,
I
whether
think-
you agree or disagree?
I think it's gonna be, we're gonna do 10 to 5, right? And see what the utility of that is, see if there's any issues, and then adjust as that is. I mean, a sign is a sign, but, I think if you go by Mississippi Park on the weekends, 7:30 o'clock in the morning, there's families there, right? So, I think the intent of this was to provide a bathroom for families when they're down there. But we're gonna monitor and make sure there's no issues, if there's issues, we'll adjust.
If people don't realize, if you've been to Walker Beach, we have a concrete floor, shiplap wall, and a beadboard ceiling. So it's pretty much the same stuff. We're trying to make it as indestructible as possible. Get like the super toilet that always flushes, but do without it.
Changing station.
Changing station is, yes.
Would anyone care to also share their opinion?
No, I agree. I agree with the idea. I mean, it's really, it's hard for us to say no. It's being funded for us. And, it gives you the opportunity to have a public bathroom there instead of having to, maybe see if somebody can let me in the cabin, use the bathroom. And, like John said, 10 to 5 from now. And then if we run into issues, it's something that we can go. So I'm not opposed to it.
People are concerned with homeless living there, being there in the morning and at night. That's where 10 to 5 came in my head, and then especially for special events when we have the ice cream social and other things, we could utilize that. People don't like using the porta potties, and it will definitely help out with camp also. Currently, right now at Walker Beach, bathrooms there are open from 7 in the morning to 7 at night, with and without lifeguards there. So that's open all the time. And we've never had an incident.
I'm agreeable with that. 10 to 5 is fine. If there's a problem, let's go out well, let's go out without.
we see that there's an issue in the late afternoons, well then, we'll close it down, but you know, grandparents are, concerned with their, and I think that the code enforcement needs to have a big presence there, and we'll see what happens. And go forward. That's my opinion.
I've been personally victimized multiple times in the last couple of years with accidents, and I'm so excited that I don't miss it.
On behalf of a lot of the soccer moms, we fully appreciate and thank you for that because the village is just all young families now where it's ever growing with young families, with young kids. I have two boys who have had several accidents at Mississippi Park, so I can imagine that there's several others, so we appreciate that happening, taking place. Oh, Emily Butler, 148 South Bay Avenue. Thank you.
I would just like to say thank you as well. We obviously have a family and we get a lot of use out of enjoying Walker Beach, and that bathroom has come in handy plenty of times recently. And I also don't want to disregard the hesitancies of the other residents as well, but I also don't want to operate out of a sense of fear and the what if at the exact same time. The grandparents that are maybe a little fearful of what could happen. As someone that has parents that come and visit from a different state, my parents have gotten plenty of use from that bathroom just as much as some of the kids have as well. So I just appreciate the open mindedness to give it a shot and not operate out of a state of fear and actually give this a try.
Anybody else on anything? Chris, thanks. Chris Pace, 506 North Windsor. Speaking of the parks, Nicole, did we find out if that grant was?
I
forgot.
No, I didn't forget. I asked Jeannie and she said she can't remember what happened to that. She doesn't think she got it for some reason. I just,
You think you think that?
I have to find the paperwork for it to see what happened.
Appreciate that.
Off the top of her head.
If it comes up again, we can file again. Speaking of that, grants. We don't have a grant writer. I know we tried before. That's something that we can look for somebody who works on commission to help us with grant writing.
They all say they're gonna work on commission until they come in. And then all of a sudden, they don't wanna work on commission. So if anybody has a magic grant writer, we'd be happy to listen.
I believe that there was actually someone who came to the meeting, not last year, but the year before, who had actually volunteered to help us with grant writings. I'll follow up with that. And then, John, mind if I just continue?
You already cleared half the building, you might as well.
People should stay to the end anyway. It's the next meeting. Yeah, and they're up by some hands. Okay, just had some questions. Last meeting about, did we get any feedback for the cleaning up the area underneath the Sunrise overpass? And
So the state's been through it.
I saw them.
Through it.
And what do they do about regards to, is homeless something that just, it is what it is?
Is there definitely someone there? I've never seen it.
Yeah, so the blankets are still there. One left.
Suffolk County has a new task force that works specifically with homeless people, so so you have to call the precinct and they'll bring a team out and they'll assess that person, so that's what we were told to do.
Answer on.
And for 517 Pleasant Boulevard. Has the board considered swipe cards? It was up for discussion, it was on the table years ago. The park is intended for residents and their guests. It should be open for when there are events, it should be open for the summer camp. When there are soccer groups there, I'm sure you get a permit to use the park, don't you?
I used to see the soccer mom as a silly.
Well, if they get a permit, then they should have like access to the bathroom, but to have it open 9 to 5, I think that's asking for trouble.
10 to 5, we were gonna do.
10 to 5.
Yeah, the issue against not using a swipe card is that someone walks out, Emily walks out of the bathroom because she has a swipe card. There's a mother's there with a little kid about to pee in his pants, saying, could I use the bathroom? But Emily says, do you have a swipe card? And she says, no.
how would a mother not let that kid in and use the bathroom?
Of course you would.
So
but the
I
thing-
would, it would put Brightwater's residents, I think, in a bad position, so.
I don't think so. I think we need to protect what we have here.
Mhm.
And my opinion is it should be open for events
Mhm.
and for the camp. And any soccer groups that sign up and get permits to use the park, they should know and have access to the park bathroom, but to have it just open, I think you're asking for trouble.
Okay, all right, thanks, Ed. Thanks. Ms. Pace, one more, please.
It'll be a long one. Questions on the budget?
Wonder why people don't come to these meetings.
People have to care. Just had some questions about the budget that we spoke to last meeting. Are those relevant right now?
The budget was passed,
Okay, that's in private.
budget was kept under the cap.
This space?
Just in regards to what Bill was, Michael Polito, #1 Iroquois Drive. Okay. In regards to pro protection, since they got hired for contract, how many summonses have there? On parking tickets, do we know?
They were hired mostly to be enhanced security for the residents.
That's kind of my question is like, what is their function? And who does oversee them other than like their supervisor from the village?
Yeah, they give us, they send us a report every night with, you know, their locations, any incident they
Yeah.
had,
Okay. As far as the summonses that they write,
same thing, they send us a report every day with
Alright.
what summonses.
who validates the summonses? To make sure that they're legit, that they have to go before they go to the court.
Of course,
You do?
the court.
The court. Before they go to the court. To make sure that they're,
The court puts inputs them and then the court is the one.
Right, the court clerk is that, and then if there's something wrong, then the judge and the prosecutor will determine that.
and they're right.
Every morning by 7, 8 o'clock. We get a report from them if there's any incidents. An incident to them is someone walking through the village at 1 o'clock in the morning with a backpack.
Right.
And they stop to question them, or, they just follow them until they walk out of the village.
Right.
So they're being proactive and again, as far, they've been there since what, beginning of August? And the amount of going through cars, I'm still lock your doors at night, but
Yeah,
the amount of going through cars is like, you can't even measure anymore, there's nothing.
yeah, I mean, I was in pro getting something done.
Yeah.
Whether it was like the village figure something out or park ranger or whatever. My question is with summonses, as far as like, they're creating revenue, correct?
If it is,
There a number to that and what are they writing?
by the time they're on, the only ones that are basically on is the 2 to 6 parking overnight.
Yeah.
Maybe if bars, someone's parked too close to the corner, but
That's-
again, they work from 11 at night to 5 in the morning. Yeah, so their action is the eyes and ears checking out the village, because these are either current or former police officers. So they are being proactive and they're always on the move. As we get the complaint sometimes of the lights that they have the lights on all the time, but that's because they want to be visible. And there was an incident on Mayway about 2 months ago where kids were going into the house on the Bay Shore side, and they saw the car coming down the block and they jumped into the car and they drove away. So it does cost us more money, but if we were enhancing security, this seems to be helping out.
Yeah, I'm just asking, like, as far as writing there,
Yeah.
To answer your question, the only tickets they can write are parking tickets
on behalf of the village.
on behalf of.
Yeah, no moving
That's
violations.
the only thing that they are writing.
Yeah, none of our code officers can do moving violations.
Right.
I mean, if you call Village Hall, they might be able to give you a ballpark of how many they've written.
Just curious.
It's not a tremendous amount, because how many,
It doesn't counter how much we're paying.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And my understanding was it wasn't gonna be. The code protection wasn't be writing summonses.
Oh, no,
They were gonna be your park rangers, your code enforcement officers.
no, the overall protection, yeah, hiding summonses.
Summons for overnight illegal parking or parking in the wrong direction or.
I guess we'll go for it. Yeah, I'm not really too clear on. We're hiring someone that they're creating revenue and it's just kind of, we'll talk about it.
you don't want them to create revenue?
I think that the need for it is. Me personally, I think the need for it is that it's presence, right? Driving around, deterring people from coming in. not writing, you know, it's, yeah,
It's, if it's anything, it's one a night.
Yeah, they're just enforcing the code. That's the job that we gave.
I understand, I'm not like arguing that.
No, no,
but if we're looking to do other things, it's like what Ken said, we can have.
Again,
With the extent of the tickets that they're writing and how often they're writing it, they're not getting away from what their job is by any means. I mean, and I can talk to you personally about,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, what's been going on, and it's definitely not taking away from their job.
okay. Anybody else?
Say, we don't have code on Mary Kate 303 Pleasant, but we don't have code when they're working.
Right.
Okay,
It's just a 1 hour switch.
yeah, so that's,
There's between 11 and 12, there's a changeover. And both of them spend a little bit more time in
yeah,
town.
so they are assuming those.
Yeah, they go to your gold insurance, so it does save us some money with the abuse on the cars.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the home runs is their gas, their car at night. And we're not putting wear and tear on their other stuff. Mike's not coming into work and there's a big dent in the car and nobody knows where the dent came from, so. You know, I think it's been up.
You know, the biggest home one is the lack of issues that we've run into in the village overnight.
Right,
Yeah.
no, that's been anything else, Ann?
Yeah, so like 17 daughter. I just wanted to mention, I called several times about dogs. That was 50 off leash. And between 3 and 4, when I would think parents would want code enforcement on with the kids getting off the buses, there is no code. There's no one on between 3 and 4.
You know, 4 of the days, yeah, so, we could maybe change that. We had the guy coming in earlier at 7 o'clock so that he could check contractors. So by making him start earlier, then he's leaving at 2:30, 3 o'clock, so we do have that gap from 3 and 4. So, we could look at that, because right now we're talking to a couple of people, hiring a couple of people that will cover some of our openings. Sundays, we have openings still, Mondays, we have openings, we have a couple of nights openings. So we are trying to get people, but,
I think parents would appreciate that though, if they knew that the code was dragging around and the kids are getting off the buses.
okay. I'm almost retired. I'll take the 1 hour shift. Okay. Me and Liam will patrol it. All right, anybody else? Tonight? Again, thank you guys for coming. We'll see what we can do. Make the motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Thank you. You people from Bay Shore pick up anytime. Thank you, Ryan.